one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you is because when Caden made his video a few months ago, the Why Look Ahead is Dying video, he opens by going, so I was talking to my friend Jacob Levi, and we came up with this idea, and I was like, what? So could you explain your role in the whole look ahead is a dying skill thing?
Okay, yeah. So I feel like what happens a lot with me and Caden is, so we met at our first comp, right? They're like chill like that. And what we'll do is we'll just get in calls and like just talk. And I just basically throw random crap at the wall because I suck at 3x3. I see what sticks with him. So I'll just like be like, oh, I was thinking about 3x3 the other day. And I'm like, and I think ZV probably sucks. And he's like, no, not at all. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'll just say random crap and I'll see what he thinks.
And
like, I don't know.
You just decided to say,
yeah.
You know what? Look ahead actually doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I was like thinking, and I was like, long term, 3x3 is probably going to end up a lot like Skewb, right? Like you inspect a lot and you try and get through everything. And right, look ahead's not a thing in faster events. So I was like, I don't know. We kind of snowballed it from there.
You just applied the logic that you knew. It's interesting. I don't think you suck at 3x3. I mean, you're sub 8 officially. That's not sucking. That's pretty decent.
I mean, officially is different than at home.
Okay. Was it a fluke average?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, very much.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think 2 PLL skips and 2 J perms.
Okay. Nice. Definitely then.
Average like high 9.
Okay. Well, still, that's not terrible. But for those who don't know who you are for sure the best at Skube, finalist at the last World Championship. Why Skube?
I don't know. I don't feel like it was really that deep for me. Like, I went to my first comp and I went pretty late, so I'd been cubing a while before I even went.
Yeah.
So I got 5th in Squan, 5th in Skube and 4th in Squan. So I was like, okay, so I could podium either of these at the next one, right?
Yeah.
I looked at the thing and Skube was there, Squan wasn't. So I was like, yes, I know what I'm doing now. And then I podiumed there. And then I started winning and I was like, whoa, it's fun to win. So I just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah. What was the path of things that you learned? How long did it take you to go through the methods and what did you learn when?
I don't know. Like, honestly, I feel like, so before my first comp, I kind of knew like the beginner method, right? Just like pledges and whatever. And I went in and got like a 6 average or something. And I learned intermediate over the next few months and got like a 5 average. Then I think I learned advanced and got like down to like 3, maybe.
Okay.
And I learned NS and then I made a tutorial about it because there was nothing. And that's about it. And then I learned EG2 like last year.
So EG2 is if there's, this is going to show how much of a noob I am. People use EG on Skube?
Yeah, so are you familiar with like basic methods?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so with EG, you just build the layer like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 1 alg.
How many algs is it? Is it the same as NS?
Yeah, 2 more, I think.
Okay. Is it
I don't know how that works.
Like anti-CLL at all, where you're able to apply NS algs, or is it all completely different?
Yes and no. So it's not the same in the way where you like solve it to this state and then undo.
Right.
Because this alg sucks. But it is the same in the sense that you'd like, how do I define this? You could like do a sledge to a different one that's a little better.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
But that's about the extent of it.
So there's no case that you are able to reduce down to universally that's better. It is actually just a pure other set of algs.
Yeah, which is why like a lot of my clients will like ask, do I learn EG? And I'm like, no, just because it's so you have to know all of it or none of it helps.
Right. Okay. Is it worse than NS by some sort of noticeable margin?
I feel like it kind of depends on who you are. So like for me, it is worse and it like uses a lot of different stuff. Like I'm gonna turn the back layer a lot more during EG, like this.
Yeah.
Like take out those corners and do something with them. And some people are really good at that, but it's like not my strong suit. So like my friend who invented the method, Wojtek, he's the world record holder. You probably know him actually.
Yes.
But anyways,
one of the funniest things like that has happened to me on YouTube is just casually he was in my Discord, and the day he broke the world records, he just dropped a screenshot and he was like, finally did decent in comp, and it was double world record. And I was like, that's crazy. But
yeah,
okay.
that tracks. But when I do like let Skewbs with him, like back in the day, I'd like do a solution to be like, oh, I didn't even see that. I was too busy looking at EG2s. I was like, like I think he uses them like 70% or something, which is crazy.
So it's how many algs? 170 something?
136.
Mid 130s for NS and another 130 something for EG. And the potential time save is what? Having a layer that's on average 1 or 2 moves easier, or?
Honestly, don't know. I think when I learned it, it dropped like maybe 0.1, 0.2. It's like, it's more about having cancel options and stuff like that rather than so much trying to do a layer and less moves, I feel like.
Okay. So it's less about efficiency and more about ergonomics in terms of how the algorithm starts.
Definitely for me. I don't know about other people.
Okay. What does the landscape of Skewb at a high level look like right now? Do you think that everybody who's really fast is good? Do you think there's room for improvement? What methods are people using? That sort of thing.
This is interesting. So one thing I noticed the other day, I was like going on, do you know that one website where like you can look at WCA comps and see the projections of like, this guy has a 10% chance of winning or whatever. You know those?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was looking on it to like boost my ego, right? And then I was looking and I saw like Skewb. It was like an even pie chart with like lots of slices. And everywhere else, it was like 1 or 2 big slices. And that was it. I was like, whoa, that's interesting. Like, I feel like it's a lot more competitive right now than other events. Like, there's a lot more people that could take it. So that's kind of interesting. And I was like, whoa, that's fun. I don't know what to think about it, but yeah. And then, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. We've been messing around with different methods. And a few people accidentally developed like this weird method. Jeez, bro, I need like water. Anyways, where like you solve the centers first. I don't even know how to do this. But it's like you solve the centers first, so it's like this, and it doesn't look any bit solved like at all, right? But then you do an algorithm from here, and it's like 4,000, but the move count is like 10 on average total.
Whoa.
And it's like, so then
what's the average for NS?
The average alg count is like 8 point something, like 4 maybe, I think. I don't know, I'm gonna get flamed for saying this. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
It's fine.
But it's like, and then like 3.5 to the layer or something. So like 12 if you're good. But like, you're not always gonna do the ideal solution, right?
Right.
And Wojtek dropped like an average with this. And it was like, yeah, I think this is what a realistic global could be. And it's like a 1.0 AO12. And we're like, okay, bro.
Yeah, just, learn 4,000 algs first.
Yeah, seriously. Do not let those Chinese kids.
There's no way. There's no way that that's humanly possible.
I don't know.
Well, okay.
I feel like
I'm going to eat those words. It's possible. I have doubts that anyone will do it well.
I mean, there's one algs. I don't know if we have much of a... Like, the ones that we know so far, it's not all that great. Like, they're kind of obscure and random, but you have 24 different angles to choose to execute it, right?
Oh.
So That's something, right?
Wait,
They're
that's
always going to end up
interesting.
good.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And another fun thing, you see all the centers are solved, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means you can infinitely pseudo the entire alg. So an 8-move alg becomes 8 different algs.
What? Whoa.
Yeah, so that's fun.
So, like 24 angles per algorithm plus one move pseudos for every algorithm. So that's what? One algorithm has 24 angles times 8 pseudos. You're up to like 196 options per alg times 4,000 cases. Holy
No.
smokes.
So when I say pseudos, that's 8 different cases per alg.
Oh, so you can pseudo one alg into a different alg.
Yeah.
So functionally, a lot of those 4,000 are not algs you're learning, it's recognition scheme. And then you just know transfer to a different.
How are you recognizing this?
Right.
But
right.
That's a whole different question.
I mean, Squan people before PBL and one look OBL were like too many things to recognize. And in Square One, there was, PBL, which is giant, but they came up with recognition schemes and chunking to memorize the algs. And there's one look OBL, or like cube shape and OBL prediction, I mean. And that was another one where it was like, no way this works. And now they have recognition schemes and tracing schemes, and that works. So now it's becoming two look. That's wild.
It's like,
so when did this happen that we are starting to think maybe this is viable, or at least maybe this exists, not viable?
So it kind of started like after Worlds. We were like, all the resources out here suck. So we decided to go ahead and like get a group together and start working on a big sheet with like all the algs, right?
Mm-hmm.
With like different cancel moves, so like what move the alg starts with and everything, right? For every case. Because everything in Skube right now is like very underdeveloped publicly. So we were trying to do that, but then we kind of just got distracted and started developing OO by accident.
Oops.
I don't really remember how that happened, but then one thing led to another, and it's like, I don't know. I like wasn't a big contributor, but I was in the group chat, so I was like just watching as like Mihal was like, yes, and then you wear this and take the integral and all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know how you got that, but he's like, and that makes 4,000 cases. I'm like, okay, bro, you go.
You got it. I trust you. Okay, I need to talk to this guy and hear about the method development. If you're watching, shoot me a message. I would love to talk to you.
Yeah, he's really smart, dude. Like I felt very underqualified in that group chat.
So this is very recent. So do you think with the methods that the top people currently use, there's room for optimization? Or considering like what is currently used, people are about as good as they can get? Does that make sense? When I talk to Pyraminx people, they're like, oh, there's so much room just using basic stuff that we already know is possible for the top people to get faster.
Yeah, I think for sure there is. So I feel like there's two kind of ways I can go with this. It's either talking about how to make NS and EG better, which we can do, and I feel like there's a lot to do with it. But there's also over here, there's TCLL, which like 2 people know, and they're still like optimizing it, but people know it and they're using it, and it's like working.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely multiple routes to take, but I don't know what like is better necessarily.
Sure.
I feel like we're far from the limit of an S and EG2 right now.
Okay. Is there much of a Skewb scene in Asia and China? Or where are the top solvers mostly? I think I know the answer to this, but I want to double check.
Poland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's one guy in China, Kaishi Guo, probably butchered that, but that he's really good. And we joke about not letting him get his hands on this method because he'll learn it all because he's Chinese. But I don't think we know much really about him because like language barrier and all that.
Sure.
So he's kind of a weird case where it's like, whoa, this guy is good, but I've never seen him, right?
Yes.
and then everyone else is in Poland. Like literally everyone.
Okay, so how do I ask this? If I look at the leaderboard, it doesn't scream Poland.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So why are you so confidently saying Poland is where everybody is?
I might have over exaggerated that like a little bit, right? Like
Sure.
there's a lot of good people here in Utah. Not Utah. I'm in Utah. In the US. But I feel like Poland is just like, I don't know, I feel like they're more consistent. So like we have the same PRs here, right? But I feel like I look over there and I see them getting a lot more of those averages. Which that could be a bias, right? But I don't know actually.
Because like I'm looking at this now. Poland, US, China, Spain, Czech, US, UK, Poland, US, Singapore, Australia, Poland, US, Poland, China, US, Poland, China, Korea, US, Sweden, Israel, France, Spain, Poland, Sweden, Poland. Like it's not like they're as dominant as something like you look at the top of the 3x3 rankings and it's like the red wall.
Yeah, okay. I think I've kind of formulated why I think that is. So I think maybe it's less that Poland is so dominant, but more that it's like the US is this big and Poland's this big. And we have the same number of good people.
That's a good way of saying it.
So it's like there's, forget the number, I think US has 9 sub-2s and Poland has 9 as well. I think it's the same right now. So it's 9 sub-2s per whatever big number of miles, right? Versus 9 sub-2s in that little area. So that's kind of why. And the reason that they're so good is just they kept an S for like 5 years or something like that from the rest of the world.
How do you gatekeep a method for 5 years?
I don't know. That wasn't really cubing at the time. I just hear about it.
Oh, okay.
But
cool.
I know the first big like resources that were public was Alias's sheet. And I think before then, I'm just speculating because I wasn't cubing.
Yeah.
Poland had like just private stuff that they'd teach each other and wouldn't share with anyone.
Gotcha. Wow. So, wow, that's super interesting. So given the current meta near the top of the rankings, let's say someone wants to get to the point where they're in Worlds, Nationals, Finals level with Skube. What's necessary to do that now? And how long do you think that takes somebody who actually has the talent to do it?
This might be a bit of a hot take, but I feel like it's probably one of the easiest ones to get there. Like as of right now, I feel like it's still kind of underdeveloped, and it's less so now than a few years ago, but still. Like honestly, if you were dedicated and you learn like NS and one looking, like you could be there in like a year, honestly.
Okay, so you're saying a year from the time that you learn NS someone looking, or a year from the time you start?
Probably after learning NS, but like a year to work with one looking, right?
After NS. Okay, that's a pretty big asterisk.
But it does depend, right? Like if you're really talented, like I don't know if you know Quinn Maloney. He won nationals last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. He basically came out of nowhere. Like he was a 2x2 guy till like a year before nationals, and then he just started popping off, and it was like NS now he's one looking, now he's doing all the stuff, right? And it's like, whoa, right? Just out of nowhere. And now he's like probably better than me. So
yeah. There are a few people I've interacted with or seen their stuff. Quinn is one. Rowan comes to mind. Rowan Stow. Forgive me if I said that wrong. Where you watch their progression and the way they talk about learning algs, and it's like, you're saying this as if anybody can do it at the speed that you're doing it, but we cannot. Even if we try as hard as we physically can, you are absorbing information and using it so fast. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, dude, Rowan is crazy. I did a session with him a while back, and I was like, Yeah, I think whatever, right? Like try one looking. I kind of forget what we were going over, but
Mm-hmm.
and then he comes back like a week later and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I learned EG," and I'm like, "What?"
Yes, yes. Rowan
Just like,
is insane. When I was testing out the whole Skube bootcamp thing, I had a group of people that we were all like practicing together, and he came in and was like, "Yeah, my group is to like learn this alg set." I think he was learning NS, or it might have been EG something, and he came back and was like, "Yeah, so I actually learned all 100 of these algorithms last week, and I'm practicing for 7.5 hours a day." And he kept doing this over and over and over again, and I was just like, "This guy's a machine," but he has the results. It's just,
yeah.
I don't know. I am super curious to see how long he keeps up the trajectory, because he's crazy.
So, what do you think like is the difference between like him and us? Like, I feel like you're very good at analyzing like what makes good people so good. Like, what do you think he has that we don't?
I haven't talked to Rowan enough to know for sure. I've just seen what he types, and I've seen the results that he puts up and the time frame that those happen. I can speculate.
Go for it.
I think it probably comes down to, number one, he gets equal or greater satisfaction out of memorizing new information correctly than getting fast times. Most cubers see algorithms as a chore, but if you're somebody who can make algorithms, like the action of learning algs itself, something rewarding, that's amazing. Second is, memorizing new information is probably less tiring for him than other people. I don't mean that it's less difficult, but I mean he has capacity to exist in difficulty for longer. So, Phil Yu and I were talking about this. He was like, when I play tennis with people, he used to be a competitive tennis player, right? And he was like, when I would play tennis with people, I would hope to play on a day with the worst weather possible, like the worst rain or the worst weather, because my capacity to play well under bad conditions is much better than most other people. So I could beat better people because my ability to do well when everything else is bad is higher. And so to memorize that many algs at once, you have to have a brain that can be super tired out, but still keep memorizing new stuff at the same way. I'm the opposite of that. Like, my peak form is super high and my tired form is super low. So I'm guessing Rowan or Quinn or someone like that, where they absorb a ton of information and keep progressing fast, even when they're tired, putting in more effort lets them keep improving more. And then there's some degree of just like, they're both pretty young. They're both, I think, 14, 15, something like that. That's still young enough where they can absorb a lot of that stuff without the same level of just dedicated understanding. The reason I'm able to articulate why so well is because I have to learn something. I don't intuitively understand most things in cubing. I have to look at it, figure out why something works. Once I understand in logical steps why, then it goes into my brain, then it goes into my hands. But the best cubers I've interacted with, like for example, Maddie and Naba, he has no idea why he does the things he does a lot of the time. He doesn't need to understand why, he just does it. And so I'm guessing that for Quinn or for Rowan, they probably just see something, and the action of learning and understanding it are the same thing. And then it just goes into their solve. I think to say more than that, I would need to interact with Rowan and hear more, or Quinn more, and hear more about how they practice and why and whatever to confirm that stuff.
So your theory is that it's kind of a mix between intuition and endurance for learning algs?
I think so. I think that the idea of talent is too broad of a word. I think endurance is a talent. I think that intuition is a talent. There may be a talent for, retention of information in your brain as well, or the way that your fingers move. But I'm not sure. I feel like the things that I said may have a higher return on getting faster than physical dexterity or something like that.
Interesting. Do you think, like, I guess going off of that, right? You said it's kind of a talent. Do you think it can be like trained? Like, do you think if I were to sit down and be like, I want to get better at my alg learning endurance, I started to, like, overload it, right? Like, day one, I learn like 2 algs, and I keep pushing to try and get to the point where I'm comfortable learning all those algs. Do you think I could train something like that?
Easily. 100% you could train that. Dude, everything about the human body and mind is trainable. It's just that different people have different starting points, different ceilings, and different growth rates between those points. So the concept of like genetics is this big term in physical fitness and bodybuilding, but that's a bundled term. Genetics can mean how are you if you're not training? Like, guys probably who are like kind of jacked even though they don't go to the gym. That's one form of lucky genetics. Your starting point is good. There are some guys where they certainly don't look very jacked at the start, but as soon as they start picking up weights, it's like, that's a different form of genetics. And there are some guys who don't necessarily have either of those things. This is rare, but they have a really high ceiling. Like, their body doesn't cap out quickly. All of those are aspects. And everything about how fast you go from A to B is trainable. Just like your ability to run longer and longer distances or run at a certain pace is trainable, your attention span is definitely trainable. Your mind's ability to endure pain in a specific setting is trainable. So, yeah, I think so.
Okay, so off of that, then, do you feel like, from a perspective of like a coach, right, if you're trying to get some, like, let's say 8-year-old Chinese kid to be as fast as possible in the next 2 years, would you start there, right? Instead of teaching them how to cube, would you teach them like how to tolerate learning big pieces of information first and teach them how to like have that intuition more for the cube? Like, sit them down and have them just play with it instead?
No.
No?
I think you do them at the same time. You just, like, you structure their practice toward that goal. So if, like, let's go back to physical fitness, because there's a lot of tie-ins because the coaching is better studied. If you are a completely untrained person joining a cross-country running team, the coach isn't going to be like, we need to train your mental endurance, so I'm going to make you go study this really hard mental topic. No, you train your mental endurance as it relates to running. They will, or cardio endurance. So they will put you through workouts that are intentionally designed to push your mind, like an action that's really easy but just absolutely sucks, but you can do it for a long time if you push through mentally. So I think the same thing. The other thing about kids who are like age 8, if the kid is under age like 11, the way you have to set milestones and the way you motivate them is very different from somebody who's 12 to 15 versus somebody who's above that. Kids under age 12 especially really gravitate toward extreme concreteness. So if you've ever hung out with kids that age and you're like trying to play with them or do something with them for the day, they're always asking, what are we doing next? Like, what's the plan? They want to know, first we're here, then we're going there. They want structure to everything. And if you say something that's not specific, like, dinner time is later, they'll be like, when is later? And what food are we eating for dinner? And where is the place we're going? But if you say at 6 o'clock, we are going to this restaurant and we're all going to order this meal, they're going to be like, great, I got it. And then they'll just do the structure you gave them. So with younger kids, you want to like not let them think. You just give them a structure and they're like, sweet, I got it. I think that's part of why the youngest kids are the ones who learn ZB the fastest. With older kids, you have to give them more flexibility to like feel out, what do I like? What do I not like? How do I fit into this structure? And go from there.
Okay, so I have a question based on that then, because I feel like that doesn't quite align. Like, I might just be misunderstanding, but
sure. Like
with what you were saying about like intuition earlier, I feel like the way you were talking about like Maddie's approach to solving, right? There isn't structure in that, right?
You're right.
So how are kids so good if they're not able to develop that kind of, skill that well, right? in
I see
comparison.
what you're saying. There's a difference between structure in inputs and structure in outputs and thought processes. So, a kid has learns things with very little structure, actually. So, a lot of the times, like language, you don't have to structure a kid's language learning. You drop them in the middle of a bunch of people who speak a language, and it just goes in. During a semester abroad, there was this family on the compound I was living on. Their kids spoke 5 languages just because the compound I was on was very multicultural. They're like, yeah, our friends next door speak German, and this mom speaks German, and our dad speaks English, and this neighbor speaks Arabic, and this neighbor speaks Hebrew. And it was like, wow, they just inhale all of it. You can't do that to an adult. An adult needs A, B, C, D, E, F, G structure as to why something works. Yeah. So there are some things, like you're saying, where the way someone learns is one way. Kids learn intuitively a lot of the time. Adults learn logically. But the inverse is true for what motivates them. Kids tend to be motivated and excited by structure, and adults tend to generally be more motivated and excited by the idea of freedom and individuality. Generalizing, but that's what I'm trying to say. So you're right that the way Maddie solves is just I just do it, bro. I can't do that because I'm a little less gifted at the intuition of cubing. And a kid would probably learn cubing that way as well. But I would still lay out the practice time for the kid. It's you will sit here and you will solve until you hit X number of solves today. And you will memorize X number of algorithms today. And by structured inputs, they build the intuition of the skill.
Okay, that's a important distinction. Yeah, I feel like I understand now. That makes a lot of sense when you're going
doing really
and
well
looking
at asking these questions. This is fun.
How kids and adults behave, right? That makes a lot of sense too. It's when I was young, I'd be I guess exactly what you were saying, right? Wanting exact stuff. And now it's I want to just go, hey mom, can I go hang out with my friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't want to, and I want to go do things and just, right?
Yeah. And the idea of a good day, like you're saying, just leisure time for a kid is a lot more structured than for a teenager or an adult. So, yeah. With summer camps or with kids programs at church or something that I'm involved in, if we're designing a program for someone under 12, you need very specific, here's the plan in 30-minute increments. And if you're doing it for teenagers, you want to give them lots of options in big multiple hour chunks so that they can go do what they're interested in and not have to adhere to this rigid, here's how everyone else is doing it thing.
Okay, so I have another question based on that then. This is a bit of a devil's advocate because
Sure.
I feel when you're saying, right, you're going to design a routine for a kid, it needs to be very structured and in place. But if you're going to design something for an adult, right, it's going to want to be more flexible and more open. I feel you don't do that with your cubing routines, right? You're very structured and in, I'm doing 30 minutes of practice now, then I'm going to look ahead for this amount of time, right? I'm wondering just why, based on how you're an adult, and I don't feel that's approaching.
Yeah. Because it's what I have found works best for me. I don't know that it's what works best for everyone, but for myself, still, I respond very strongly to specific external deadlines. This is just an observation about myself. I don't think everybody should approach their life this way, but I have specific external deadlines for literally everything. It's kind of obnoxious. Some people would use the phrase autistic. To that, I would say you're right. Fitness, the way I eat, the time I spend with my wife, the way that I cube, the way I do work. I have numbers and goals for all of it, not because I think it's better for everyone, but because that is what helps me act the way I want to act. So for most adults who want to pick up a cube, I don't think that's the way that they should approach it.
Got you. Okay.
But the times that I have really structured, here's what I will do, those are the times when I practice the most and practice the best. So for me, it seems to work.
Mm-hmm. So there's an individual component to it, but
massively.
In general, you're going to want a more flexible routine for an adult than a kid.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, with the people that you've coached, the fastest improvers, how much direct guidance did you have to give them?
If I'm honest, like none at all. Like the people who have been most successful, which maybe says something about the quality of my coaching, are the ones that I like give them a few sessions and I tell them where to go, and then they just go do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which those two people were Quinn and Rowan. So it's quite possible that that's their right. Just their talent is go do your thing, and they're really good at figuring it out right as they go.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd give them a direction, like go work on your one looking right, and give them some resources. They'd go do their thing.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's not a flaw of the coaching at all.
I mean, I feel like if you're coaching less and it works better, and then you coach more and it's worse.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. So like if you think about a coaching session as like holding up a sign and going, you should turn right, you know? And like the person is driving a car. This illustration is weird. If the car is going really, really, really fast and they turn right, they're going to go a really long way that direction. And if the person is like driving super slow, they could turn right and still go nowhere. And that's not your fault. You can give the same advice to two different people, and one of them takes that advice and uses it a ton, and the other person just doesn't. That's not a sign that you're bad at what you're doing. That's actually probably a sign that it's good, and just different people apply it more or less effectively. Like, if there's actually a bunch of areas of life where this is just true, but like if somebody buys a book and they read one chapter of the book and they find one sentence in that one chapter that they just love, and this person is a billionaire, and that one sentence changes how they run one of their businesses, and their business grows by 0.1%, that's millions of dollars that they've just earned by one sentence of one chapter of one book, and they don't read any of the rest of it. Giant payoff, huge, awesome payoff. And then if I go read that entire book, I'm not going to make millions of dollars from it, at least not yet. It's not a sign that the book is like bad. It's just different people can apply it differently.
Do you think this might be misunderstanding like exactly what you're getting at, but I'm going to try anyway. So do you think like that what you're saying is where the clients go is a multiplier of whatever you say, and it depends on how much they're willing to multiply it?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, then do you think it's good to like tailor it differently for different people, right? Like for those people like Quinn and Rowan to just sit back and like say, go this way, do that. But then for someone else who isn't multiplying it as far, to give them more advice and more structure, routines and stuff like that.
100%. You just articulated an extremely important principle of like leadership and how people work. You're fun to talk to. So think about this in terms of like companies hiring employees. If you go work at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, McDonald's and Chick-fil-A have unbelievably specific training procedures, right? Like Chick-fil-A literally tells you, like, if someone says this, then you say this. If somebody says this, then you say this. If somebody hands the cup to you with the lid on, you have to take the lid off and fill it up this way with this button. Like they're extremely specific with what they say because they're hiring teenagers and paying them about minimum wage. Whereas if you are going to get hired as like the CEO of one of the biggest companies in the world or near that level, they're not giving you that training. They're saying, here's the office, here's the keys, here's who's reporting to you, go figure it out. We want the company to get bigger. That's all the advice they give. And the people up here are so skilled at all the things that they do that not having advice is better for them. They go get advice when they need it and they keep going. And for people who are working at like McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, not to trash service workers, like in general, that advice is more helpful to those people because they need it in that position. So yeah, you totally need to tailor it. Does this person need more structure to understand what it means? Like some people who I've talked to, They don't really understand what it means to learn algorithms. Like, they don't know how to go through an alg sheet. They don't know how to drill. They don't know how to review. They don't know when an algorithm is finished, how to learn AUF, how to learn finger tricks. There's a whole bunch of sub-skills in that you have to like spell out for those people. That doesn't mean they're like a worse human being. It just means you have to like give them more concrete instructions here. And then later, for a really, really advanced student, they already know all this stuff. So I have to spell none of this out, and I just say, all right, learn these 3 concepts. Off they go.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess, I don't know if this is like I guess I feel kind of bad trying to distinguish between these two in terms of potential, but do you feel like those that kind of need less of that like routine and they'll go figure it out themselves, do you feel like those people have a higher potential to be fast than the people who need structure and routine? Simply just based on what I've seen with my clients.
I do not think that necessarily.
Okay.
I think that the path you take to the output doesn't predict how good the output will be. Okay. But certain paths are easier than others. So if you are somebody who requires extreme specificity at every step of the process, you could still get insanely fast. Like insanely fast. But you need the steps. The likelihood of the right people giving you the next step at the right time all the way there is low. But it is still totally possible to get there, right? If you are somebody who's like a maverick and you just go figure it all out, which is the vast majority of people at the top of cubing, the likelihood of you actually going through with it is way higher. So I don't think that it's that one person has more potential. It's that the potential is easier to access.
Got you. There's more friction along that path.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, don't necessarily think about it like that. There are whole like industries of companies in the world where their thing is like, let's find people who have a ton of potential, but there's friction surrounding that potential, and give them like a system and a lane where all of this potential in here can just shoot out into results. And like we protect the path so they can go do their thing. Where like in any other context, they would get lost. But if we give them the resources they need in this one thing they're really good at, they will make us a lot of money or whatever. I keep thinking of business because business is like one of the ultimate expressions of understanding how people work and motivating them to do things. But yeah.
Okay. So do you think that like with more and more coaching being present in the cubing community, that we're going to see more of those structured people reach the top than in past with more intuition people?
Look at the 3x3 leaderboard. It's already happened. The reason it's only happened in 3x3, I think, is because there's only like one major place in the world where we have a culture that highly values putting kids through this structure, plus a bunch of people who make money from putting kids through it, plus a large number of people who are all going through the structure, which allows us to produce outlier results. I don't think it'll happen in all cubing events. A lot of them will stay like fun hobbies that people can follow structures through, but it takes money and time to invest in coaching. And so there has to be a reason for people to put in that money and time, right? There is in 3x3, at least in China, but not necessarily in everything.
Yeah. So do you see those like, because I guess that is true that like pretty much everyone at the top of 3x3 is some like output of a mad coaching scheme in China, right? That leads to them being like this, I guess Wanyi's like an example, right? Like this robot that just solves like this structure every time and it's like perfect, right? So do you think that at the end of the day, that's the ideal end state? Or do you think there's still room for that intuitive solving like Maddie at the top? Because Wanyi is faster than Maddie
I would push back on some of that. I don't think all the kids in China are just like robot children at all. I'm guessing the coaches are like, here's the methods, and the parents like, let's practice a lot, and the kid is like, I want to get good at this, and there's some combination. Like, there's still children who are just having fun, but they're given a structure that they can follow, and they probably have parents who are pushing them really, really hard to get good at what they do. That's a cultural thing.
Mhm.
By ideal, what do you mean? Like
fastest, right? Most
Oh.
optimal form of solving.
If you mean best way to achieve optimal solving, then yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But like, I don't know. Is that what's best for cubing as a whole?
I guess that's true. Yeah,
Don't know, bro. There's pros and cons to it.
because it is good to have fun while you're doing it, right? And that is the
Very good to
trade-off
have
there.
fun while you're doing it. But then if all we do is have fun while we're doing it, are there going to be people who dedicate themselves to it enough that we can create like more engaging broadcasts that pull in more people that grow the activity? Or do we want that, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
The idea of
it's a
what's best
balancing
for
act.
cubing is a confusing topic in general.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't really thought about that. Like the idea that maybe in an ideal world we're not sub 2 on 3x3. Like I haven't thought about that. Maybe the ideal is we stay this speed and just have more fun, grow the community, and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah. Ideal is all about what incentive do people have. So, like, let's think about an adjacent thing that I think is kind of funny. Let's think about space travel. I do not think that there's any likelihood that we actually go to Mars as humanity because of incentives, not because of technology or possibility. I'm stealing this from Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not an original thinker here, but I like this idea. So, like, we first went to the moon, theoretically, like 50 years ago or so. And then it just like stopped completely. That happened because there was like the US and other countries being like, we hate you and want to go to war with you. And space was like a political war thing. Like, we need to do this so that the US stays the US, and patriotism and stuff. And as soon as the Cold War stopped, there was no reason to keep funneling tax dollars into it. So it just like did this. SpaceX and like the current SpaceX is its own weird thing, but like the moon mission that just happened recently, again, is a response to like Chinese space activity that started happening a few years ago. What's the geopolitical reason to go to Mars? There isn't really one. Like the only way that I can see it is if Elon Musk is somehow genuine in his whole thing of like, yeah, going to Mars is for the good of humanity. But like really what's going to make it happen is someone earning money or becoming powerful through it? I'm not saying that because it's what I want. I'm saying it because historically humans do things because of money or power. And space travel is one of those things. So, okay, enough general discussion. The reason I explained all of that is that it is theoretically possible to get to Mars, like probably very soon. But we haven't. It is theoretically possible that 3x3 would become a sub 2 event and people figure out one looking schemes for it. But why on earth would you do that? Like what humans who have the intellectual capacity to get so good at a specific thing would do that over becoming a brain surgeon?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
I don't know. Why do you think, I guess one question then, just kind of based off that, is why do you think that people are so fast now? Like, given that there isn't much of an incentive, right? Like, if you go win worlds, you're getting like $500 or something, right? I don't know the exact amounts, but like, it's not crazy, right?
There is an incentive.
It's not.
It's okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Right?
Just like feeling
it's super
great.
Cool. It's super fun.
Yeah.
It's super rewarding. That's enough incentive for a lot of people to do a lot of pretty cool stuff.
For sure. Yeah.
It's just that like there's also pain involved in getting really fast, and fun in a result can only push people to get through a certain amount of pain. People who achieve the craziest, most ridiculous things in the history of humankind normally have some sort of very, very deep motivation that gives them a reason to push through that pain. Something about the identity that they have or a hurt that they experienced. So they have to become powerful, or they have to become rich, or they have to never stop working. And the most consistent places where that motivation shows up is money, power, status. Does that show up in cubing? Not nearly as strongly. So people are fast now because it's awesome. It's fun. Competitiveness is a huge driver. And it stays fairly wholesome because there aren't things that pull out the negative human motivations like money, status, power nearly as much. So, I mean, why are you fast?
That's probably
you
a good
thought it's
thing.
awesome. You think it's fun.
Yeah. So I guess to tie that back, right, is kind of what you're saying that I just lost it. Like, okay, so to get to that speed, you would have to introduce some more motivation, which might take away from the wholesome aspects of cubing. So it's not really worth it. Is that kind of?
You're saying that your summary of what I said was, in order for people to get theoretically optimal, you'd have to introduce a motivation to push them to that level, but that motivation wouldn't be worth it. So we would rather not have this toxic motivation and preserve cubing than introduce something like a bunch of money than to get people there. I don't think I agree with that, at least not entirely. So you could introduce a crazy amount of money and attention, and that'd be bad. I wouldn't want that. But I would love enough for things to grow a little bit. There's a scale, right? You could, Elon Musk could die and leave all his money to the World Cube Association, and all of a sudden, a lot of people would want to become cubers. Let's not do that. But, if there could be a little bit of money so that a few people who are at the top could be a little more focused on making cubing faster, and we could have, a couple more YouTube channels who are really good at making cubing content about the sport of cubing, that's cool. Let's do that. That's worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
He's percolating.
I know I was percolating, but I might have ended in nothing.
That's fine. You said you're in Utah?
I am, yeah.
Okay. You met Caden at your first competition. Where was your first one?
Yeah. It was in Salt Lake. So he has a lot of family in Utah, so he was down here for that.
Got it. Cool.
And what's actually really funny is our little friend group that we formed at our first competition is me, Caden, and Jeremy Bullenbot. I don't know if you know him.
Arizona. Yeah.
I butchered that probably, but yeah, Arizona. So that's really interesting that we were all from different places.
That's super
which
cool.
is annoying at times.
Where are you at in life right now? High school, right? What year in high school?
Yeah, I'm a senior
Cool. So
in high school.
do you know what's coming next? Does it, or not really?
College probably, but it's all confusing. I don't really know. I feel like my end goal, I haven't really figured much out yet. I think a lot and then I don't make any decisions, is kind of, I want to start a business in something to so I don't have to work for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how to get from where I am now to there. So I just kind of want to go to school and study business because maybe that'll help.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know.
Cool. You totally don't have to figure it out yet. I resonate a lot with what you just said. The thing that's been helpful for me with that is I realized that why do you think before you make a decision? You're trying to gather the most accurate information possible so that you can look at the information and go, decision A is correct instead of decision B, right? You think, you get information by thinking, information, choose a path. I did not figure this out until this last year, but the reality of the way the world works is the best method of getting information is doing things, not thinking.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
if in general you have a decision between thing A and thing B, unless the decision is irreversible, like unless the decision is something that you cannot undo without extreme long-term consequences, then bias toward pick, see what happens. And by doing something, you're like, oh, holy cow, I just learned like 9 billion new things. Now I can go
Yeah.
back and make a better decision. Or, holy cow, there's like 19 other options I didn't even know existed. And I wouldn't have known had I not chosen something. So, like, specifically what this is meant for me is like when I have an idea about a thing I can do in business or a person I could go meet, I'm so bad at this, but I'm trying to train myself that the first thing to do should be try it. Like, I should just DM this guy right now.
Mhm.
Or I should just apply for that job. Or I should just like message this company. Or you know what? Let me just go like ask AI to help me build something for like 30 minutes. Just do it.
Yeah.
And the downside is there are a lot of things you'll do where other people will see it and it'll look weird to them. And there are also a lot of things that you'll fail at. But the upside is you get more information to make more decisions, which gets you closer to where you want to go. So I don't know
Yeah.
what
And
businesses you're thinking about starting. I don't know what schools you're thinking about going to, blah, blah, blah. But like from the conversation, I can tell you're a thinker. And if you can mix that really good thinking and question asking with do things first, that's really, really cool.
mhm. Some things I like try and tell myself, right, to get myself to go do things because I'm prone to getting stuck in like just thinking, right? Is like
Mhm.
the worst case scenario for like the majority of things that I can do right now, like nothing. It's like maybe someone will see it and be like, oh, that's weird. And that's like it, right? That's like, there's nothing, like genuinely. It's not like I can ruin my entire life at 17, right? Even though it feels like that sometimes, right?
Mhm.
Just choosing a path and going would help me learn a lot, right?
Yeah. That's a whole other topic. I'm happy to talk about life stuff another time. This ended up being you talking to me about my thoughts on cubing, but that was fun. Just went with the vibes.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're probably going to keep cubing for a little while though, right? Like you enjoy it enough that you're still practicing, or is that a wrong assumption?
Mm, it's like a mix. So I like feel like I really like cubing, but like I never sit down and do it. Like I always find myself doing other stuff.
Mm,
It's like I kind of have to force myself to do it sometimes. And most of the time I just end up not doing it. Then I get slow and I get mad at myself. Then I go and try and cube and I'm slow, so I'm mad when I'm cubing and I don't enjoy it because I'm slow. And that's no fun. But
yeah.
I really want to get back into it for like these majors this year.
Are you going? What are you going to?
Yeah, I'm going to NAC and Euros this year.
Oh,
It'll be a
wow.
lot of fun. Yeah.
Your profiles, you've only got one Skewb round. It's one Skewb comp this year. So
Yeah.
that's pretty big. Like you have two big ones coming up.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Wow. Let's go. What does prep for that look like, do you think? We're like 3 months out? 2.5
Yeah.
months?
I have to make myself learn algs and then do like a lot of solves, I think, to just get back to where I was. Because
What
like
does that look
honestly,
like? What does a lot of solves mean for you?
um, like bare minimum like 200 a day. But like
Okay.
I would have days in like my I guess peak where I was like doing 1,000 a day. Like
Wow.
and my hands were hurting
Really?
after. But I mean that's Skewb, right? Like A100 takes me 20 minutes. It's different, right?
Oh, okay. I guess that's not terrible.
Mhm.
Hmm. Any final things that we haven't touched on that you wanted to bring up while we're still on the call?
I guess one thing, you seem like very good at like routines and like motivating yourself to do stuff. So how should I make myself get good for NAC? Because like it's
Um,
something I really want to do, but I always struggle to sit down and do it.
sure. what does get good mean? Do you have a result in your head?
I mean, yeah, but it's like, if I say out loud, then I feel pressure and all that, right? But I want a podium. So,
You want a podium.
and I
Okay.
mean, win would be
Yeah,
nice,
that's a hard
but
goal
that's
because it's so
hard.
there's so many day of variables that matter. How much better can you get, like, as a at raw skill at the puzzle? How much better can you get?
I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of potential in, like, I have a lot more that I can improve on in, like, my turning, but I don't know how much I'm able to tap into, right? Because I don't know how to improve turning. Like, that's something I'm bad at working on.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. There are two sets of things you can work on. One is how you compete, and the other is the skill that you have that you pull from on competition day. So there's one set of things that you'll have to work really hard on, which is like comp prep, and the other is how good you are at the Skewb. Is there anything here that you think needs substantially improved? My guess is yes, because you're saying I need to practice a lot. But like, what are those things?
Well, I feel like at this point, it's like there are things I could improve, but they're not like a need. Like, I feel like if I can perform well on comp day, after basically doing the things that practice that I need, which is just derusting, honestly, I feel like I can get my goals given that. But I feel like there's not much of a skill improvement I need, more of just getting back to my skill, even though I could maybe improve more, right?
Okay. So the thing that we have to solve for is not adding new skill. It's polishing what you already have and allowing you to use it well on competition day. Okay. So earlier you said you need to learn more algs. Why?
Just alts. Just like for more scenarios so you can find like a little bit of a better solution, right?
Okay. So help me
Like
understand.
they're not necessarily
like,
super.
Help me understand this. I'm not a Skewb person, but you just told me that the thing that you need to work on is capitalizing on what you already know.
Yeah.
So are the more algs doing that, or is that it sounds like that's adding on new stuff.
That is adding on, and I don't feel like I really need to do that, but it's like something I've been putting off and I feel bad about more.
I see.
Like, I don't feel like it's necessarily something I need, but it would be nice for my peace of mind, right? I'm not missing something.
Well, you'll always be missing something now that we have a 4,000 algorithm, infinitely suitable, massive, crazy method.
Yeah.
The question is, do you think that that would be more effective at helping you podium than solves and comp sims?
No.
Then have peace of mind that you're doing the most high leverage thing.
Yeah.
Like, given the timeline and what we have, that is the best thing that you can do. So, like, first be convinced of that. Like, it sounds like if you're not really convinced that this is not the best use of my time, you'll always have second thoughts about it.
Yeah.
Is there anything in you that's okay? So you think that you're not going to be like, man, I should have learned those alternate angles.
I might be like that, but I feel like I'd be like that the other way
well,
too,
let's
right?
think.
There's
worst
always
case,
an aspect of
let's
regret,
think worst
right?
case. You're 4 solves in at the NAC final. You need BPA on solve 5 to podium. You get the scramble. On that scramble, you see a bad case. Like you one look your solutions. You find a bad case, and you see that if you knew the alt alg, you could. What happens? Is it a better pickup? Is it like a 1 move layer better? Like what's the worst case scenario in that solve?
Just faster exec, right? Less regrips, cancel
By how
moves
much?
potentially.
By like 0.1?
Depends on the severity, right? Like between how the alg is versus how the alt is, right? But probably 0.2, 0.3 max.
Okay. So assuming you can completely learn the algorithm, lock it in, and be able to execute it exactly correctly under nerves in 2.5 months from now, in the highest pressure situation you can in cubing, the max you're saving is 0.3 in that moment, right? Shoot, did we lose him?
Oh no, I was just nodding, saying yes.
Okay,
Sorry.
cool. So if that's if true best case scenario is like a 0.2 upside, which is extremely unlikely that you realize it, then it's probably not worth learning right now. Like, I don't think that best case scenario is worth the risk and time that you'd have to do to throw that into your solving.
Yeah.
So if the goal is de-rust, then there's a few things. One is be doing comp sims every day, because the skill you need is competing under pressure. And then the other one is figuring out how to get yourself to stick with it. So first off, do you do comp sims, or have you in the past?
Kind of. So I used to do them like just with the cover and whatever, time inspection, and it wouldn't really help me all that much before my most recent comp, where I like finally broke 2 seconds. So I was happy about that. Quinn told me to do comp sims where I wait between solves, right, to like kind of get hands cold, not used to the cube, everything. And I was so bad at those, and I got better at them throughout the weeks leading up to it. Helped a lot, but
yeah,
I haven't done them since.
I highly recommend that. So I tried to code a little tool for that on my website. It didn't work very well, and it still doesn't, and I'm not going to go fix it because it's not worth my time, really. But I would do that. So Max Park, his dad, we were talking, and he was like, yeah, when Max was really, really grinding, we would only let him track 3 averages of 5 in a day. And that was his 3 attempts for the day. He could solve as much as he wanted, but those are the only ones that we wrote down for him. And it built the nerve control. If your thing is, I want to podium and I already have the skill to do it, like pending a few thousand solves of de-rusting, right? We're assuming you're going to put that work in. Then what you need to for sure train toward is like 2 comp sims a day with waiting in between each solve, and you track that result. And that's what you care about. And if that's not getting better, probably figure out how to practice so that gets better. So obviously you need to do like, 250 solves a day, 300 solves a day. But whatever you can do to get yourself to do that comp sim every day is important. What normally motivates you? Is it progress? Is it winning? Is it like some sort of external pain? Like think back to the times when you've been consistent with stuff. What about whether it was a workout or a diet or a cubing thing or a homework thing, or I don't know what things you've done. Why were you so consistent in those moments?
Winning. Yeah, okay. I feel like maybe progress, but progress is so hard to see in the moment. It doesn't really.
Okay.
Not till I'm looking back.
The only motivation you need then is that NAC is 2.5 months away. What I would do, you may not be this way, but what I would do is I get a literal piece of paper. I take this specific Sharpie out of my drawer and I draw a box on it for each day until the deadline. And I put it on my wall right where I look next to my desk every day. I do this for whatever I'm working on at the time. And I literally just cross off the box for each thing each day. And so if your one thing is 2 comp sims a day with time spaced out between solves, just track that. Like, have a checklist, do it once a day. And if that isn't going well, then you will backfill with whatever solves or turning drills or mindset things you need to make that go well. Does that sound like a way that you'd be motivated, or does that sound like annoying?
That sounds like it'd be really useful, but I might like forget. Like, that's my only problem.
Well, what do you never forget?
So I need like a really big thing with boxes on it, so I couldn't miss it.
What do you never forget in your life? This isn't a trick question. You're wearing clothes right now. Right?
Oh, that's true. That's
you never forget to eat. You never forget to wear clothes. You probably never forget to like check your phone.
Okay. For sure, I forgot that one.
So there are some things that you don't forget.
Yeah.
So how can you make this something you won't forget?
Dang, I have no idea. Just give me the answer.
I don't know the answer, bro. This is different for everyone.
Shoot. Dude.
Like, this is totally dependent on the person. Like, if this is me, I'm putting the thing on the wall. I have a checklist app, and it becomes the top item in my checklist app every day, and I have to go back to that thing. I'm blocking out a space on my calendar so that I don't book meetings over it. Like, it has to like, I have multiple things that I have to do personally. And I between the checklist app and the thing on my wall that I'm gonna run through and space on my calendar, I'd be okay because I would want it for this 2.5 month defined period of time. If I really, really wanted it, what I'd probably do is I'd set a bet with a friend, and I'd go, hey, if I fail this, like, you're my accountability partner, I have to text you every time I do it. If I mess up, I'm paying you $500, which hurts. It's supposed to hurt, right?
Yeah.
And then if I do it, I do it. But I don't know what works for you. Like, I know people where their thing is like, I have to go do this goofy thing if I fail, or they tell all their friends now they'd feel stupid if they don't. Like, it ranges. I don't know if you do things better in the morning or the evening. I don't know if you remember things by looking at your phone or your room. I don't know if you do things better on your own or in a group. Like, you have to answer this for yourself.
Yeah. But I need to dedicate that and actually figure it out.
Don't dedicate too much thought. We know you dedicate thought to things. Dedicate enough thought to make a plan and then do the thing starting tomorrow or today.
Yeah.
I think that's your training path, though, is like, have a minimum thing that you're going to do every day, literally no matter what. Like, do 2 comp sims a day, no matter what, and then just solve as much as necessary to make that go well. And if you train the comp sim skill, probably highest likelihood that you do well at NAC. Agree or disagree?
Oh, I do agree. I am thinking about it.
All right, cool. Let me know when you decide how the comp sims are going to work, because I'm curious to hear.
Right.
I want to hear about it. Hey, if you want to just like put up a little YouTube video each week where like just a post on your Instagram story of like, hey, here's the stuff that I did this week. Like, Twan is doing this. Twan is doing this for Euros.
If I just post my comp sims every day, like as a short or something.
Yeah, short.
Then I feel
Instagram
then
story.
I feel nervous too. Right.
Yeah,
because
whatever.
Like, if
whatever
I do bad,
do.
then all 10 of my viewers are gonna think I'm slow.
Yeah. Now,
so it's like,
make it easy. Like, don't make the short complicated enough to produce that there's ever a day where you're like, dang it, I don't want to record this one. Like, the key is make it more likely that you do the comp sim. But if that will help you do it every day, do that.
Yeah, I think I'm record it, no editing, just show the time to the camera and
perfect.
Throw it up there probably.
Do that.
When does this come out so I can like know when I can stop procrastinating on it and actually start?
Bro, that's not the answer. You're doing this
I'm
today.
joking. Yeah, I'll do it today. I got you.
Yeah. And then how many days until July 2nd? 75. That's perfect.
75.
75.
Oh, wait, that's such a round number.
It's kind of nice and even.
Yeah. I kind of have to start today now.
Yeah, you got to start today now. Do it.
Well.
Cool. Okay, cool. Glad I could help a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing those shorts. I'll be following the training grind.
I'll get on it.
All right, let's go. Dude, thanks for talking. I'd be happy to do another one of these in the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
thanks for
I just remembered.
Inviting me.
Final question. Everybody needs to answer. I ask everybody this before the show's over. What aspect of cubing gives you the deepest joy?
Definitely like just hanging out with people. Like, I feel like it's just really fun to be there with all your friends,